Conservative activist Charlie Kirk killed at Utah Valley University event on Wednesday. Gov Cox called Kirk's killing a political assassination. In what Utah's governor called a political assassination, a sniper shot and killed influential conservative Charlie Kirk on Wednesday at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. The killer remains at large, but Gov Spencer Cox vowed that federal and state law enforcement officials would capture the shooter. The investigation is ongoing, but I want to make it crystal clear right now to whoever did this. We will find you, we will try you, and we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah. Kirk was in the middle of answering politically charged questions about mass shootings in America when he was murdered, said Deseret News reporter Emma Pitts, who was covering Kirk's campus rally. Gov Spencer Cox called the assassination a dark day for Utah and a tragic one for the United States of America. I want to be very clear, this is a political assassination, Cox said. Kirk's rally was held in an open, tiered amphitheater area surrounded by UVU buildings. Kirk, 31, co-founded Turning Point USA, one of the largest conservative organizations for high school and college students in the country. Wednesday's event was sponsored by the group's UVU chapter. Kirk was a popular podcast and cable news host who attracted 15 billion social media views in 2024 alone. He was married with 2 children. Kirk appeared at noon. She was 5 rows from Kirk during the rally. She called it a terrible irony Kirk was asked about mass shootings just before she heard a gunshot from behind her at 12:20 p.m. The first question was if Kirk knew how many mass shooters were transgender. The student who asked the question was challenging Kirk, who picked up a microphone on the desk in front of him and said, "Too many." Kirk was picking up the microphone to answer a second charged question about the number of mass shootings in America when a bullet appeared to strike him in the neck. "I'll never get the image out of my head," Pitt said. "It looked like a fountain of blood came out of his neck. His body went limp, and then his eyes closed." Pitts and Deseret News reporter Eva Terry said they grabbed each other and dove to the ground with the rest of the crowd. They said many of what they estimated was a crowd of several thousand were hugging each other. Pitts suggested to Terry that they pray. "We said prayers out loud for him and his family and for the safety of everyone there," Pitts said. Kirk was taken by personal vehicle to Timpanogos Hospital in Orem, where he was pronounced dead, according to Bo Mason, commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety. Kirk was a supporter of President Donald Trump, who confirmed Kirk's death on Truth Social. "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you," Trump wrote. Gov Cox said university campuses have historically been places where truth is debated and ideas are formulated, and that Kirk believed his tour of college campuses was fostering debates foundational to the nation's basic constitutional rights. When someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened, Cox said. The shooter fired at Kirk from the Losey Center, 200 to 300 yards away, UVU spokesman Scott Trotter said. Grainy security footage showed the shooter running away. About 30 seconds after the shooting, the crowd started to get up, Pitts and Terry said. UVU police chief estimated 3,000 people were on campus for the event. "We sprinted behind his tent and ran into the nearest building, got under a desk, and called our editors," Pitts said. Officials swiftly moved to evacuate the campus, and more than 80 first responder vehicles descended on the university. SWAT, ATF police, Utah County Sheriff deputies, Orem police, and officers from numerous nearby communities conducted a campus-wide manhunt for the shooter. At one point, a SWAT truck with heavily armed team members hanging off the outside of the vehicle rolled up over curbs and across grass fields from the Keeler building to the campus library. Officials detained a man named George Zinn shortly after the shooting, but released him when they determined he did not match the shooting suspect and was not a person of interest, Mason said. Zinn was subsequently booked into jail by UVU police on suspicion of obstruction of justice, Mason said. FBI Director Kash Patel posted on social media that another person of interest had been detained, but then said the person had been released after interrogation. Law enforcement officials said a manhunt is underway for the suspect, but said they did not believe there was a risk to the community.
This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack, said Mason, the public safety commissioner. Pitts and Terry were assigned to cover Kirk's UVU rally. They said the crowd was full of energy for his appearance. The reporters said the campus cleared out quickly after the shooting. They stayed on scene to do interviews with national outlets, including ABC News, CNN, MSNBC, The Guardian, USA Today, the BBC, and many more. They were also asked to fill out statements for Utah County Sheriff's investigators. Pitt said she was surprised that they weren't scanned and their bags weren't checked when they entered the event. She didn't feel there was a high security presence, which surprised her because Kirk was controversial. There's a part of me that is scared covering events like this because they're so public and people are so angry. Nobody scanned our equipment. Nobody scanned our bags. There was no security like that, Pitt said. Long, the UVU police chief, called the shooting a police chief's nightmare. He said UVU had 6 police officers providing security in coordination with Kirk's traveling security team. Gov Cox said the shooting was further evidence the nation is broken. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. He said, our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. The governor asked Americans to see beyond today's political divide. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere. I don't care what his politics. I care that he was an American. Cox called on America's leaders and citizens to find ways to move forward. We need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this what 250 years has brought on us? I pray that that's not the case. I pray that those who hated what Charlie Kirk stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. Gov Cox ordered U.S. and Utah flags to be flown at half-staff on all state facilities to honor. Flags should be lowered to the half-staff position and remain in the half-staff position until sunset on Sunday, September 14th, 2025, he said in a statement. I extend this invitation to all private citizens, businesses, and other organizations.
UVU spokesman Scott Trotter also released a statement. On September 10th, 2025, at 12:20, a single shot rang out in the quad near the food court on the Utah Valley University Orem campus as Mr. Charlie Kirk began speaking at his planned rally. We can confirm that Mr. Kirk was shot, but we don't know his condition. The suspect is not in custody. Police are still investigating. Campus is closed for the rest of the day. UVU Vice President Val Peterson said the school was mourning with Kirk's family. On behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charles Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy, Peterson said. The FBI special agent in charge of the Salt Lake field office, Robert Bowles, said the agency would cooperate with local officials in the investigation. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence, he said. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. At least 60 first responder vehicles were blocking the campus entrance Wednesday afternoon. Police responded from the Utah Highway Patrol, Orem, Provo, Springville, Lehigh, Linden, Spanish Fork, and Payson. A single shot was fired on campus toward a visiting speaker. Police are investigating now. Suspect in custody, said an alert UVU sent to the campus community. Iowa political leaders offer prayers for fatally shot conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Iowa political leaders are offering their prayers after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot September 10th while speaking at a college campus in Utah. Kirk, 31, was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, when he was shot in the neck during a question and answer session with students. President Donald Trump issued a statement on Truth Social following reports of the shooting. "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. God bless him," Trump said. Later in the day, Trump announced in another Truth Social post that Kirk has died. Kirk, who founded the conservative group Turning Point USA, had spoken in Iowa in the past, including a visit to the University of Iowa's campus in 2019. Iowa politicians are also offering their prayers to Kirk and his family. Here's what they're saying. Governor Kim Reynolds. Horrific news from Utah Valley University. Governor Kim Reynolds wrote on social media, "Kevin and I are praying for Charlie Kirk and his family." Reynolds shared her condolences with Kirk's family following the news of his death. "It is with heavy hearts that Kevin and I share our deepest condolences with the family of Charlie Kirk. Charlie was beloved by many for standing up for conservative values and inviting constructive debate and dialogue among young Americans. Political violence has no place in this country." U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley. "Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk," U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley wrote on social media. U.S. Senator Joni Ernst. "Pray for Charlie Kirk," U.S. Senator Joni Ernst wrote on social media. Following Kirk's death, Ernst wrote that political violence has no place in our country. "I'm heartbroken to see a young father taken from his family far too soon. This never should have happened. May Charlie Kirk rest in peace." U.S. Representative Marianne Miller Meeks. "Please join me in praying for @CharlieKirk11 and his family," U.S. Representative Marianne Miller Meeks wrote on social media. In a post after Kirk's death, Miller Meeks called Kirk a patriot who loved his country. "Today, a loving wife lost her husband. 2 beautiful children lost a loving father, and our country lost one of its strongest voices. Charlie was a patriot who loved his country and led with dignity and faith. His passion for open dialogue and his commitment to America's future inspired millions. This horrific act of political violence is not only an attack on Charlie, but on the very principles of free speech and democracy. This attack is heartbreaking, and political violence is unacceptable. We grieve with his family, his friends, and all who look to him for leadership and truth. May his memory be a blessing, and may we honor his legacy by rejecting hate and recommitting ourselves to civility and peace." U.S. Representative Ashley Hinson. "This is terrifying," U.S. Representative Ashley Hinson, who is running for U.S. Senate, wrote on social media. "Please join Matt and I in praying for Charlie Kirk and all attendees at his event today in Utah as we wait for more information." After the news of Kirk's death broke, Hinson wrote that she was heartbroken. "After today's horrific shooting, I was praying for a miracle and am heartbroken that Charlie Kirk has passed away.
Charlie was passionate and charismatic, dedicating his life to engaging with young people. I am devastated for his wife, Erica, and 2 children, and will be keeping them in my prayers and close to my heart as they grieve. There is no place for political violence in America. This has to stop. Now. U.S. Representative Zach Nunn. Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk, his family, and the students gathered in Utah Valley. Political violence has no place in America. Following Kirk's death, Nunn wrote, Charlie Kirk's death is an assassination of America's First Amendment rights. U.S. Representative Randy Feenstra. Please pray for Charlie Kirk, U.S. Representative Randy Feenstra wrote on social media. Feenstra shared another post following news of Kirk's death. May Charlie Kirk rest in peace and may God comfort his family and loved ones. Attorney General Brenna Byrd. Bob and I are praying for Charlie Kirk and his family as we await updates from this terrible tragedy, Attorney General Brenna Byrd wrote on social media. My heart breaks for Erica Kirk and her children. Please join me and Bob in prayer for Charlie's family and our country. Republican Party of Iowa Chair Jeff Kaufman. I ask everyone to join me in praying for Charlie Kirk's family and everyone affected by his passing. Political violence has no place in our country, ever. In America, we settle our differences at the ballot box, not through threats or violence. It's time to lower the temperature and come together as Americans to unequivocally condemn any and all forms of political violence.
Republican gubernatorial candidate Eddie Andrews posted on social media, Charlie Kirk has been shot. This evil must stop. Republican gubernatorial candidate Brad Sherman said in a statement, today's act of violence committed against Charlie Kirk is a chilling and despicable act that we must all condemn in the strongest terms. Please join Carol and me in praying for Charlie and for the entire beautiful Kirk family. We are praying for a miracle. Sherman issued a second statement following Charlie's death, quoting scripture. We continue in a state of disbelief and disgust at the despicable act that took his life. Charlie was a patriot and a powerful voice for Jesus Christ, who is the only real answer for the evil in this world. Make no mistake, we are in a spiritual war, good against evil. But let the powers of darkness be informed, Charlie's passing will not silence him. His legacy will continue to speak louder and louder through the thousands upon thousands that he touched while on this earth. We are not defeated. We are winning. As painful as it is, let us remember, but in all these things, we overwhelmingly conquered through him who loved us. For I am convinced that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing will be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Romans 8, verses 37 through 39. Republican gubernatorial candidate Mike Bousselot, who is exploring a run for governor, wrote on social media, Charlie Kirk was a voice for our times and our country. His murder has shocked me to my core. May God bless him and keep him and his wife and children left behind. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Jim Carlin wrote on social media, media reports indicate Charlie Kirk was shot this afternoon at an event at Utah Valley University. Please join me and Donna in praying for Charlie and his family during this time. Lieutenant Governor Chris Coronor wrote on social media, praying for Charlie Kirk and his family. Political violence has no place in our country. State Auditor Rob Sand, a Democrat who is running for governor, wrote on Facebook that he is disgusted by political violence around the country. Whether it was the assassinations in Minnesota earlier this summer or the shooting today, I'm disgusted by the escalation of political violence across our country. This cannot be the new norm. We must come together to reform the broken political system that has brought us here. Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Zach Walz posted online,
Praying for Charlie Kirk and his family. Political violence has no place in our country. It is wrong, dangerous, and must be condemned without hesitation. Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Josh Turek wrote on social media, "My prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his family. I denounce political violence in all forms. Violence is never acceptable in our political system." Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Jackie Norris posted online, "Political violence is never the answer, and we must condemn disgusting acts like these in the strongest terms. My prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his family." Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Nathan Sage wrote on social media, "The news coming out of Utah is absolutely horrible. Political violence is a cowardly act. Regardless of our differences, no one should ever be attacked for their beliefs. My thoughts are with Charlie Kirk and his family right now." The Iowa Democratic Party wrote on social media, "The news coming out of Utah that Charlie Kirk was shot while at a college event is appalling. Political violence has no place in our country." Democratic 3rd Congressional District candidate Sarah Trone Garriott, "My prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his loved ones." Democratic 3rd Congressional District candidate Sarah Trone Garriott wrote on social media, "Violence is never the answer. We must reject political violence in all forms and choose compassion, peace, and the hard work of democracy instead." Democratic 3rd Congressional District candidate Jennifer Confirst, "Political violence has absolutely no place in our country, and it must be condemned in all forms." Democratic 3rd Congressional District candidate Jennifer Confirst wrote on social media, "I am heartbroken with the news out of Utah today, and am praying for Charlie Kirk's family." Republican 2nd Congressional District candidate Charlie McClintock, "Our thoughts and prayers go out for Charlie Kirk, his family, and friends." Republican 2nd Congressional District candidate Charlie McClintock wrote on Facebook, "A senseless tragedy." Republican 2nd Congressional District candidate Joe Mitchell, "R.I.P. my friend." Republican 2nd Congressional District candidate Joe Mitchell wrote on social media, "We will never forget you or what you fought for. We still fight for it." Democratic 2nd Congressional District candidate Clint Twed Ball, "Our hearts should break whenever we lose someone to a senseless act of violence." Democratic 2nd Congressional District candidate Clint Twed Ball wrote on Facebook, "I am praying for Charlie Kirk's family and friends. Violence has absolutely no place in our democracy." Democratic 2nd Congressional District candidate Lindsey James, "Political violence is a vicious circle that destroys us all and has no place in our country. Hearing the news of Charlie Kirk's passing is heartbreaking, sending prayer for the Kirk family and for our country as we grieve under yet another devastating act of violence."